All right, at 6 o'clock, we'll get started. I'll call the meeting to order. Miss Lori's going to lead us in the invocation, and Miss Willie will do the pledge for us. If everybody stand, please, as you're able.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come tonight just to thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us. Lord, we thank you for enabling us to come together. Lord, we ask that you just be with us as we present and make business and do business for the city. Lord, we just ask that everything is done decent and in order. And we just claim the victory today in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank y'all, ladies. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Ms. Lori,
Here.
Mayor White,
Here.
Alderson,
Here.
Ms. Johnston here, and Mr. Davis is out today.
Yeah, Mr. Davis called earlier today and said he was not going to be able to make it to the meeting, so we understood that. We got 3 sets of minutes here to approve. The strategic plan from January the 8th, and thanks for those people that attended that. Study session of January the 15th and our regular session on January the 20th. Once you've had an opportunity to review those, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we accept the minutes as written.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Awards, presentations, and appointments. We've got a great thing to do here tonight. To do an oath of office for a new police officer, Mr. Carson McDougal. Chief?
Here, Commissioners, Mr. Carson McDougal, he will soon be third generation law enforcement.
Oh, cool.
Very impressive. After me.
I, Carson McDougal,
As a member of the Mount Pleasant Police,
as a member of the Mount Pleasant Police Department,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution
to uphold the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the state of Tennessee,
the state of Tennessee,
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
and charter
and charter
of the city of Mount Pleasant.
of the city of Mount Pleasant.
I will faithfully execute
I will faithfully execute
my duties
my duties
in accordance
in accordance
with the general orders
with the general orders
of the Mount Pleasant Police Department
of the Mount Pleasant Police Department
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability. So help me God. Thank you.
Just a note, he's younger than both of my children. No, I'm kidding.
He's gonna be just
Yeah.
fine.
Good job.
Welcome.
Proud to have you.
Thank you so much.
You see me, Steve?
You're going to be working with a great group of people.
Yeah,
And congratulations.
thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is a proclamation from Miss Teresa Davis, and this is an honor, but yet it's a somewhat of a disappointment to see Teresa retired. So Teresa, if you would come up, and any family that would like to come up with her, we'd welcome you to come on up. And Commissioners, if y'all would like to join.
I would love to.
All right, it's again, as I said, this is a great day to honor Teresa, but it's a hate to see her go. 40 years, 46 years, and it's been such a great time to work with Teresa over the last several years in the role as being a commissioner, and just a pleasure. We hate to see you go. So, Whereas Teresa Davis has faithfully served the city of Mount Pleasant for more than 46 years, dedicating her career to public service with exceptional professionalism, integrity, and commitment. Whereas throughout her tenure, she served as executive administrative assistant to the city manager, providing invaluable support to leadership while ensuring the efficient and effective operation of City Hall. Whereas Teresa Davis consistently demonstrated a deep devotion to the citizens of Mount Pleasant without question, assisting the public with courtesy and respect, and contributing to numerous initiatives that strengthen the city's growth, economic development, and overall success. Whereas her contributions include supporting grant opportunities, major project and economic development efforts that help bring industry, job growth, and opportunity to the community. Whereas beyond her professional accomplishments, Teresa is admired for her kindness, loyalty, and the lasting relationship she has built with colleagues, elected officials, and residents alike. And colleagues, I see a number of them in the room. I think it speaks volumes. Whereas upon her retirement effective June the 30th of 2026, the city of Mount Pleasant recognizes the lasting legacy of service she leaves behind and expresses its deepest appreciation for many years of dedication. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the city of Mount Pleasant hereby honors, commends Teresa Davis for her outstanding service and declares this day in her honor and recognition of her extraordinary contributions to the city and its citizens. Be it further proclaimed, the city extends its heartfelt gratitude and best wishes to Teresa for her happy, healthy, and well-deserved retirement. Anything you'd like to add, Teresa?
You said it all. And I had a lot of help. It's been a privilege to work.
Been a privilege.
Thank so many friends, lifelong friends, and family, and the citizens. Well, we got wonderful citizens.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank all y'all for coming.
All this good food. Hello, Mama.
I haven't seen Dennis, her husband, in years.
I think I'll just call her on packet day every month, just for fun. So I think I'll just call her on packet day every month. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's my chef. She don't want to speak again.
I'm gonna let it quieten down just a touch before we. There we go. Thank you, Michael. All right, mayor's appointment, airport board. Corey, this is a little odd, but I'll just explain what's going on. Justin Robinette, and we had Mr. Greg Martin come Thursday night for the work session and speak. And the airport board has asked me to serve on the board. And the current chairman of the board, Mr. Tom Apker, wrote a letter to the city of Mount Pleasant strongly endorsing me to be on this board. I will say this openly right now. It's going to be an honor to serve here, but I can tell you one of the things that the airport is doing, and I've recommended, and we are going to begin with a new advisory board to have someone in place to replace each one of the members. Each one of the members, there'll be one from the county, one from the city of Columbia, and one from the city of Mount Pleasant. When the airport was first formed in the early 60s, Mount Pleasant donated the property. The city of Columbia donated money as well as Murray County. So that's how this comes. Ordinarily, it is someone within the city that has done this. Or for many years, it was a city manager. Philip has asked not to do this. So I'll be happy to answer any questions I can, but I want to be very open about this because it's a kind of an unusual situation for the mayor to be asked to do this. But I'm going to give it all my best. There are a number of things that are going on out there. All of the accounting and everything is going to be sent over to the county now instead of it being done at the location, so that it's got the best accounting possibilities that can be done. So nobody will be locally being able to do anything with the money. It'll be done at the county level. So any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer.
I guess my only question would be, I could see, is there any conflict of interest in Phil being on the board? There too.
So I don't think so. My preference would be that it was someone totally, not on the board and not an elected official. But they have requested him specifically for like his background. But I went through the statutes. The airport authority says what kind of or who serves on that board. There's no restriction on there. It just says that this board appoints someone to fill this expired term of Mr. Robinette. Same with the county and the city's position. So each entity that's part of the airport authority appointed one member, and so y'all are always responsible for appointing that position. It's an unpaid position. There's no benefit to Mayor White for being on that board. So I don't see, the conflict of interest rules are related to money, and I don't see that being a conflict. Like I said, the cleanest thing, would be if it was like Mr. Robinette, someone that's not elected, but in this particular instance, they have requested him. It's y'all's appointment. It's listed as mayor's appointment, but it's technically this board's appointment to that board.
And I want to make that perfectly clear. They asked me to do it because they're going through the transition of transferring all of the accounting and everything over the county, and the background we have here doing that, and my background in business for 40 years.
So do we need to make a motion that he does that?
Yes. I mean,
Okay,
you
I'll
can
make a motion
for
that
whatever, but
Mayor Bill White be appointed to the airport board.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Yeah.
Got a second? You think we should have a roll call on this, Corey?
sure. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Roll call, please.
Okay.
Just to be clean.
Knowles,
Yes.
Mayor White. I don't know if you get to vote or not. That's all I know.
Corey and I talked about that.
Again, I don't think there's any conflict. It's not, you're not getting a benefit from
boards,
being
yeah.
on this board.
Just to skip him.
Skip.
You can abstain if that's
Yeah.
easier.
Abstain.
I'd rather abstain.
Okay.
Keep it clean.
Ms. Alderson,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson. Yes. And then Mr. Davis.
But here again, we're setting this up with this advisory committee to have somebody roll it. I don't want to do this forever. Mayor's appointment for Housing Authority. Philip?
Yes, Housing Authority, Mr. Roy Bullitt, resigned, and the nomination that come from their, executive director was Brandy Pinkerton.
Ms. Willie, you want to say anything about this? You have been involved in this a little bit more than any of the rest of us have over the last year or so.
I just think when I was at the last meeting, Mr. Bullock wanted off, and I think they wanted another lady on the board. And Brandy Pinkerton currently works at the middle school, and she's a member of our community, so I think she would be great on the housing board.
I'd have to second that. They were keen on having her there. It squares up the board. They're doing a lot. I mean, I attended a meeting and they're looking at adding playgrounds to each one of the facilities now. Cleaning up because of the storm. Something else. Something to do with the rent, with them not having to pay,
They're trying to get it where they don't have to mow their grass.
mow their grass.
Yes, that's a good one. I heard a lot about that.
Yeah,
And so, they're making strides.
That's good.
and they're adding, dryer plug Department Street.
That's exactly right. So that they didn't have to go to the community center or whatever and get them done.
That's good.
So they're making some strides for
Mm-hmm.
people in this community that can't always find the places to do that. So, any other questions on housing authority? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the mayor's appointment for the housing authority, Pete Pinkerton.
Got a motion? We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Mayor's Appointment Communication Committee. This is actually Ms. Alderson, Commissioner Alderson's appointment. Each commissioner gets two, and your young lady is, and I'm not boogering this up.
Merrily.
If anybody wants to help with that, they can. It's
Yeah.
Merrily.
I asked her to pronounce her
She's
name.
usually here.
She's not here. She
Here.
texted me and said she wouldn't be able to be here tonight.
She attends a number of the meetings. She is very involved, and I think she'll be a great addition.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
So-
a replacement for someone?
Yes.
Yes.
For Angie Cawthorn.
So entertain a motion for that.
I move that we accept Ms. Merle as the communication committee substitute.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Completion and review of unfinished business. Ordinance 2026-1139. This is a public hearing and the final reading. An ordinance to amend ordinance 2025-1134. Said ordinance appropriating the revenues and expenses of operating and maintaining the departmental functions of the city of Mount Pleasant for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th of 2026. Shifra?
It's a small budget amendment. I emailed the documents to you all again on Friday, just so you had it before the meeting. There is funds that I'm pulling from fund balance for the two items I had listed in the email. There was a tower, the parking lot, the communications tower had, the insurance funds were received in like the last week of June, but the expenses and the process of buying the new tower, getting it installed was just not happening. So I did pull those funds back out of fund balance. And then Aero Mines bathroom was another one that the project was, bathrooms were completed this year. So those were something that we budgeted last year. So I didn't want it to hit this year's funds for anybody. The rest, everything is like little grant items that we may have not budgeted at the beginning of the year and they came in the middle of the year, or we were awarded later and the funds came in. So the amendments are very small, and there's only the general fund and the water and sewer fund. The rest, everybody's pretty much operating within their allowances, so we don't have any main reason. I know Philip in his report is gonna go over the winter storm fern expenses. Those are still coming in a little bit. We were about $30,000 off the top is what we know that's been purchase ordered out. There are some small expenses, because our purchase order is, if you spend more than $1,000, you open a PO. If it's under 1,000, operational stuff. Those receipts, when we get our monthly statements from probably Ace and little stores around here, that may hit that line item. So we'll probably know the final numbers eventually, but they're not part of the budget amendment, because if we can operate for that amount through the budget, we'll do that, or I'll have to amend it at year end. So I'm open to any questions if you all have.
Any questions for Shifra? We do this, we try to make sure we only do this twice a year. And we're fast approaching, whether we want to realize it or not.
June's gonna be here.
June's going to be here before we know it. So, hearing no questions, entertain a motion. Oh, sorry. This is a public hearing. Would anyone care to speak on this? Please let the minutes show no one cared to speak. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept ordinance 2026-1139 as presented.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Monthly report from mayor. The only thing I've got this month is, and Todd, thank you. And I've seen this, posted out there in a place or two. Yeah, we need to make some more copies for everybody, please. There is on March the 21st, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., there is going to be a community CPR class. And it will be here at the City Hall. It is free to attend. If you want to get your American Heart Association Heart Saver certification, it would be a $25 fee. There will be limited spots available, and it is open to the public, and there's no prior experience required. This is, and there is going to be lunch provided by the pizza place, which I think is very nice of them to do. And this is being done in memory of Daniel W. Hudson Jr. Daniel Hudson's son, Daniel W. Jr. passed away back November or December, and one of the things that he asked, instead of donations or instead of flowers and other things, he asked for a donation to the Mount Pleasant Firefighters Association because of the dignity and respect that they offered to the family at the time that this happened. And it's very touching that Daniel asked that be the case instead of flowers and other things be spent, because he really appreciated what the fire department did that day in one of the worst situations that anybody could ever live through. So that's all I've got. Monthly financial budget report, Ms. Shipra.
But we did hire the person who's going to replace Teresa's position. She is supposed to start next week, so that way she actually at least gets a week or about 7 or 8 days with Teresa on the job, so Teresa can kind of, a lot of the information we've kind of, between me and Michael Haywood and stuff, we've kind of absorbed a lot of it, but we're gonna, have this new employee sit down with Teresa and trying to learn. So next week you'll probably see 2 people in her office, and so we're trying to get that replacement in. And then property taxes are due on February 28th. A lot of them have hit in the last 2-3 weeks. We're getting a good chunk of the industries are paying right now. The biggest thing, I guess, was on the financials this month. We did the gas fund rate increase in November, at the end of November. And so that hit during these winter months. That is helping the gas fund come back out of the deficit. We have carried a deficit for a long time now. I don't think we've come out of a deficit for a while. So this is my first month actually seeing it kind of be in the black, and you will see that in your the net position report that's attached for utilities. I emailed it to you all, and it's attached to the agenda on the website, but it actually, the gas fund is finally coming out of the deficit. So I should be able to submit something again to the comptroller's office. We did submit our original ordinances for the rates to them to get out of that notice that we received for them. So that was the biggest highlight, I think, for me right now. And then next month, we'll definitely see the property taxes. When I do the February financials in March, you guys will really see that the property taxes are hitting the books really well. So
Good.
any questions?
Yeah, any questions? Hearing no questions for Cipher, entertain a motion for approval.
I make a motion that we approve the financial and budget report as presented.
Got a motion, we have a second. Got a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Monthly report from city manager, Philip.
Mayor and Commissioners, I'll start with Winter Storm Fern. As Shipper stated, to date it was $32,595. Biggest majority of that was the generators that we didn't use, and I think that we all could say that glad we didn't have to use them, but we wanted to make sure that we were prepared. The water plant and our sewer lift stations. The rest of it is police and fire and streets department. So we'll have a final number, but the majority of that was for the generator rentals. Any questions?
Any questions on that?
All right. These are not action items. I just wanted to give you an update. The Parks Board had a presentation the other night. Mr. Logan Sweeley, who's 15 years old, he's with Scout Troop 154 in Mount Pleasant. He's picked a project over at Rotary Park. He wants to do the staining of the benches, the bridge, build a handicap ramp into it, several different things. Just wanted you to know that's happening. If you see that there, and hopefully when he's all said and done and he gets his Eagle Scout, we'll have him back for proclamation.
Amen.
Is asking for them.
He is asking for donations, so
Okay.
community. So he's received some, but more to come as we know more. I told him to send us an email to see what we could do at the
Yeah.
city and organization. So, any other questions about that one? Next one, Ms. Sheriff Dooley. I don't know if you guys know her, but she's a local resident who also works for the Murray County Prevention Coalition. She approached me about helping us write a grant, the Healthy Built, Tennessee Department of Health Healthy Built grant. She's had a lot of success in getting grants. So he's like, yeah, sure. So one of the biggest things that you may see on social media in the next few weeks is a survey about, Clark Mini Park. That was one of the things the Parks Department recognized that they're planning as we get the strategic plan done for them. But we could do something in the next 12 months. What would it be? And Clark Mini Park was that park. So we're going to look at that. There'll be a survey come out. What would the community like to see there? And we'll see where it goes from there. So very grateful that Ms. Sheriff Dooley is wanting to do that for our community.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Clark needs some help.
Yes. And the last thing I have, just reminder of town hall this Thursday, the 19th at 5:30. 2 topics: the stormwater utility discussion and our zoning ordinance update. Starts at 5:30.
Anything else, Philip?
No, sir.
All righty. Special reports from other departments. Wastewater. I think we're just about through, but Philip?
Corey, we need to really update that ordinance so we don't do it anymore, but that would take 2 readings on it. So,
But what a happy day.
What a happy day.
all I have is we'll talk more at the closeout change order towards the end of the agenda.
Okay. Now, Pleasant Gas.
Again, we're still in process with the EDA and the Tennessee ECD, the grant process. Just trying to get that paperwork in to see where it goes from there.
Perfect. All right. Any questions on those 2 from the commission? New business, resolution 2026-7, a resolution approving Collier Engineering contract for 2026 Pope Lane resurfacing project.
The purpose of this resolution is to enter into a contract with Collier Engineering. Collier will provide engineering services to the city during the planning, design, and construction phase of the Polk Lane resurfacing project. The length of the contract is 1 year, with the option to extend for 3 additional periods on the same terms. The cost of the contract is 5% of the total project cost, plus reimbursement for mileage. Collier estimates this to be around $22,500 based on projected construction costs. The contract was included in your packet and was also online.
Philip, anything you'd like to add to that?
The only thing I would add, Mayor and Commissioners, Mr. Jeff Menatra is here. He's dropped off preliminary plans for the multimodal this afternoon. So he said stick around. So if you have any questions for him, he's here. I'm sure he's willing to answer.
I just appreciate what we're doing. I think it's foresight in what we ran into with Gray Lane and trying to get a little ahead of this instead of behind it, so to
Yes, sir.
speak. Any questions? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept Collier Engineering contract for Pope Lane's project.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2026-8, a resolution of the governing body of the city of Mount Pleasant authorizing the renewal and payment of downtown revitalization grant anticipation notes not to exceed $450,000. Corey?
Shifra.
Okay.
Okay.
So I mentioned this a little bit on Thursday. We transferred $1,050,000 at the end of July. We got the approval from the comptroller's office. It is general fund money. We transferred it to our general capital projects to cash flow the downtown projects because TDOT's reimbursements were way behind towards that period of time last summer. I believe we didn't get them till September. But the contractor had to keep moving because the more days we would have added to our contract, it was going to be a cycle of increased costs. We're going to keep going up if we keep it. So we kept paying the contractor through our funds, and then TDOT was reimbursing us. At this point, I have paid back 600,000 of that $1,050,000. Supposed to get another reimbursement of over 150,000 anytime, hopefully, from the state again. So as any reimbursements I get from here on out, they go back. However, our original resolution had the ending period of January, like we were going to pay it off in January because we thought the landscaping would close in November.
Right.
So I had given myself 2 more months after official closing, hopefully in November, 2 more months to get all the reimbursements. So that way this thing would be paid off. At this point, we've had to ask the state for an extension because landscaping is taking long. And I think it's still going to be spring till they finally review that all these plants actually, I guess, if they worked. Is that?
Yeah.
I
And
don't know how to say that because I know you've been in those meetings with the landscaper forever it takes.
there's also a 120-day closeout
Period,
too, so that's pushing it on out.
So I'm extending the note out. I talked to this comptroller, our rep at the comptroller's office, and she said just do another resolution for the remainder of the amount. So the wording's a little bit different than the original one. It just says we're renewing the old one for 450. So that is what's left. And as long as we can return it, before fiscal year end, it would be good. So like I said, I'm slowly returning more, but it's one reimbursement request with the state can take up to 2 months to get to us. So it's pretty slow.
Yeah.
That's still faster than last summer.
Good.
Oh, any more questions?
Yeah. Any questions of Shipper?
Mm-mm.
Talked about this quite a bit. So thankfully we could keep the project moving without having delays and costing us more money.
Correct.
All right, entertain a motion on resolution 2026-8.
Approve resolution number 26-8 as presented.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2026-9, a resolution approving Collier Engineering Company master agreement for on-call engineering services.
So the purpose of this resolution is to enter into an on-call contract with Collier Engineering. The length of this contract is 1 year with, again, an option to extend for 3 additional 1-year periods on the same terms. Each contract will have a separate scope of work assigned to Colliers. The city will pay Colliers by the hour only for projects that extends to Colliers pursuant to this agreement. The rates are included in the contract. The contract was also included in your packet and is an exhibit to the resolution. So Mr. Davis asked at the study session whether each one of these projects would come back before this board. And as Philip pointed out, then this is basically similar to your consulting contracts. This is the contractor that you, or the engineer that you're going to have on call to handle any of these engineering projects pursuant to this, his rates that their rates that they've got on this contract.
I've got one point to add to that, and Jeff reminded me, we've already bid it out and awarded Cannon Road. You remember we talked about the subgrade, subbase. That's the main purpose of this, so I'd have an avenue to call him, and I think he's the seasonal intern on here, the lowest rate, I think. I can verify that one. But that gives us the authority, or gives me the authority to, like, if I've got questions about that, that I can call him instead of just trying to guess like we did on Copeland. No, he's not the seasonal intern.
Season?
I would like to say that
Come forward if you don't mind, please, sir.
Philip would be able to call us at any time, and I can get whoever expert is on our payroll to come and address whatever problem or question Philip might have. Just like this contract with Canaan Road, if he were to choose to use us for inspection purposes, verify quantities and base of the road and that construction, we'd be glad to do that at an hourly rate. And of course, always check with him and have a PO in place beforehand, before anything's done.
Thank you.
Here again, this is another one. I think we're just getting ahead of the
Yeah.
game instead of,
Reacting.
yeah.
Got somebody lined up.
Yep. Any other comments or questions about the 2026-9?
Mm-mm.
Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept resolution 2026-9 as presented.
Got a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Resolution 2026-10, a resolution declaring the intent of the city of Mount Pleasant, Tennessee to reimburse itself or the Board of Public Utilities for certain expenditures relating to electric system projects with the proceeds of the bonds and other debt obligation to be issued by the city. Al, Corey?
That's fine. You can. Well, Mount Pleasant Power System proposes a future bond issuance for approximately $6 million. The bond will pay for the construction of a new delivery point substation in the south part of the Mount Pleasant Power System. The bonds will probably not be issued until 2027, but it's expected that it will be necessary to make expenditures to pay for certain costs before the issuance of the bond. The purpose of the resolution is to authorize the city to repay any cash expenses for this project that occur prior to a bond issue. The letter from Mount Pleasant Power System, which explains this more thoroughly than this, was in your packet. And Mr. Christians is here to answer questions or explain it further if I messed it up.
Al, you want to come forward? And for those of you that weren't here Thursday night, Al did an excellent job of explaining this, but might do it in short form again now.
I'll do it in short form. Basically, in the our capital plans for calendar year 2028, we want to construct a new delivery point substation, which would be a new delivery point from TVA on the south side of our system. We already own existing property there. It'll be where a transmission line crosses Highway 20, and it would be primarily to serve the communities of Summertown, Sandy Hook, Rockdale, that area of our system, as well as provide backup power to Mount Pleasant and relieve some capacity at Mount Joy substation for future growth. So the cost of the substation is estimated to be about $5.5 million, and so we're looking to do a $6 million bond issue. As you saw in your packets, our debt service, we're paying off a bond in 2027, so our debt service will drop drastically in 2027, and so that would be when the new debt service of the new bonds comes into play. So really our debt service would stay flat, and so that basically means that we're covering that with existing revenues from the electric system. These bonds, if approved at a later date, would be backed by electric revenues and not by taxpayers. That's always good to point out. But other than that, it's just a reimbursement resolution for expenses prior to a bond issue. It is not authorizing a bond issue at all at this time.
Al, would you remind the audience what your current debt service coverage ratio is?
So our current debt service ratio is 3.9. After these bonds, it will go to 3.3. That's not looking at any increases in revenue that we may have between now and then, which could make that better. But TVA regulates that with us,
right,
and the floor is 1.5, so you can't get below that. We would be at 3.3.
Thank you. That's something that in my world for 40 years. 1.25 is the magic number, and so they're operating well above it. So that's good to hear. Rates are, I think, reasonable for the product that we get. Miss Willie, anything, you're our representative on the board, anything you want to add?
Al did an awesome job explaining it.
Yes, he did.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve resolution 2026-10.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. E 2024-25 approval, audit approval. Corey, anything you want to add to this?
No.
Okay. Schiffer, if you'd like to introduce the young lady here with Malden and Jenkins?
Yes, we've got Allison here for Malden and Jenkins, and then this, she brought everybody a
Yeah.
copy, all the commissioners have a copy of the audit, and then you have the small booklet is, I think, the presentation that she. And then once you all approve everything tonight, the actual audit also goes on my website.
All righty, got the floor.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me tonight to present our audit report for 2025. We appreciate the opportunity to serve the city of Mount Pleasant and look forward to continue working with the city. So I'm Allison Hightower. I'm the Audit Engagement Director for the city and ultimately responsible for making sure the audit process goes smoothly, we stay on track, we issue the financials. And before I jump in, I just want to praise Shifra and her team. They've been exceptional to work with, answered every request timely, accurately, promptly, whatever. They've been a pleasure to work with. So looking at my presentation, since we're a new firm to you guys, it's our first year working with you, I wanted to tell a little bit about Malden and Jenkins and who we are. So we're a public accounting firm and we are based in the Southeast US, but we just had a recent expansion into Texas and Louisiana. So we have about 43 governmental leaders across the firm, and we serve over 700 government clients. And the government sector accounts for about 30% of our firm's practice. So just all that to say, lots of great experience, lots of great resources around our firm to serve the city. Also want to mention, we do offer other services besides your typical financial statement audit. We have a department that offers advisory services like operational assessments and long-term planning, anything like that. We also have a group that offers IT and cybersecurity services, so like vulnerability assessments and penetration testing. And if the city is ever interested or has questions on any of those services, please feel free to reach out and I'll put you in touch with the right person. So as part of the team this year, the audit team this year, you had myself, the director. I have over 11 years of experience with governmental clients, and the quality control reviewer was James Spence. He's a partner with M&J who has over 20 years of experience. And it's important to note that it takes the sign-off of both of us, so a director and a partner, to finalize the audit and issue the report. And it's just a very important part of our quality control process and one that we take pride in. So next, I'll go over what our objectives are and what our responsibilities are compared to what management's responsibilities are. So our responsibility is to audit the city and issue an opinion under auditing standards generally accepted in the U.S., as well as government auditing standards. And our objective is important to note because we don't provide 100% assurance that the financials are free from misstatements. We only give reasonable assurance that they're free from misstatements. So at the beginning of the audits, we set materiality thresholds and we use those thresholds throughout the audit in testing and analytics and things like that. So the financial statements that you have, they are the responsibility of city's management, so mainly Shifra, and are not the responsibility of the auditors. So jumping into the audit results, the most important part, we issued a clean or unmodified opinion for the financial statements. And we are still working through the audit for the major federal grant program. We have to audit the highway planning and construction grant this year because it was over $750,000. So that's still ongoing, very close to being done. And once we're done with that, we will issue a separate package that will consist of that schedule of expenditures and federal awards. It'll have your report over the city's internal controls over financial reporting and also the report over that major federal program. That is coming. And it'll also have that package will also have your audit findings, and I will discuss those later on. The next, I'm on slide 4, if you're following along. The next section just kind of goes over some of the procedures we performed during the audit. like confirming cash, testing receivables and capital assets, and performing a search of unreported liabilities. Just to name a few. So on the next slide, I'll just mention the accounting estimates and judgments that are used in the financial statements. So those estimates include valuation of accounts receivable, so your allowance for doubtful accounts, and depreciation of capital assets. So we evaluate those, and we concluded management's estimates and were reasonable and nothing unusual noted there. Next again, praise Shipra and management. We received full cooperation from management during the audit. We had no disagreements, requests were filled timely, everything went well. As far as like audit adjustments, there were some proposed and past audit adjustments. These mean they were immaterial to the financials, so we didn't post them. And those related to, so the first adjustment related to bond premiums. They weren't allocated to the water and sewer and sanitation funds. They were just only in the governmental activities. So we proposed and passed on restating the net positions in the governmental water and sewer fund and sanitation fund. So, and those these premiums relate to the 2021 general obligation bond, and so the bond was allocated to those funds, but that premium was not. And the premium should follow like where the cash went. So, and also the bond premium should be amortized on the effective interest method rather than the straight line. So again, these are just small adjustments that we found immaterial. We passed on making them. The second one was there was an adjustment related to accrued interest not being recorded in the water and sewer fund. Again, immaterial, didn't post it, just something to kind of think about in the future for Shipra. And then the third was just some utility bills that were not being accrued for in accounts payable. And again, just immaterial amounts that we're suggesting Shipra just consider going forward. So the next few slides hit on some financial highlights of the city. So the graph on page 8 shows the unassigned fund balance in the general fund, which you can see is increasing over the past several years. And to the right, we calculated the ratio of your unassigned fund balance to expenditures. So these percentages show if the city has funds available to cover those non-traditional or emergency emergency expenditures. So, and you can see that the ratio has increased over the past several years. The next slide is a summary of the general fund budget and variances. And again, this is for fiscal year 2025. So revenues were slightly under budget, mainly due to the payments in lieu of taxes, although actual revenues were like 93% of budgeted. And expenditures were slightly under budget. So again, about 93% of budgeted. And there were several departments that resulted in that variance, police, fire, public works. The next couple slides have the city's business type cash flows for the past 2 fiscal years. Cash flows are useful because you can kind of see where cash was received, where cash was used. And when comparing the cash flows from operations from 2021 to 2025, the cash flows decreased about 26%, which is just the result, I think, of the increased cost of sales and service. So just increased expenditures or expenses. Although when looking at overall, the past 5 years cash flow from operations, there was an overall increase of almost 18 million. I'll mention with those. So as mentioned previously, within our report on internal controls over financial reporting, we will have our audit finding. And this finding relates to the year-end financial close process. During the audit, we just identified some audit adjustments that we had to make, and the majority of which were to correct errors from prior periods. And I've discussed all these with with Shifra and her team, and they agree and understand these transactions. And I'll go over these in a little bit higher level, but welcome any questions or concerns along the way. So I broke these out to show which ones affected the current year activity and then which ones we were restating for prior periods. So the first adjustment reflects the recognition of a $245,000 finance purchase obligation for public safety vehicles. But since we recorded the debt source and the outlay, there's no effect on the fund balance. You're recording a revenue, you're recording an expenditure, there was no effect. It's just accounting. We had to account for it. The second adjustment essentially relates to just a timing correction of grant revenues. So we had to do a restatement of about $31,000 and $180,000 to the State Street Fund and the Water and Sewer Fund. And these are for grant revenues that should have been recorded in prior year. Similarly, there was an adjustment relating to the unearned ARPA revenues. So these revenues were actually earned in fiscal year 24, so should have been recorded as such in 2024. So we posted a restatement to record that in the Water and Sewer Fund. And I'd like to stress that these funds are real and accounted for. It just landed in the wrong fiscal year. So these restatements are properly aligning the revenues in the period in which the underlying grant eligibility requirements were met. So the next adjustment relates to accrued vacation recorded within the governmental funds at the fund level. We had to do a restatement to remove that accrual from the fund level. The reason for this adjustment is because the governmental funds use the current financial resources method measurement focus and the modified accrual basis of accounting. So these funds should only track spendable assets and liabilities that will use them up currently. So and that adjustment increased the general fund's balance. Another adjustment related to accounts payable. So beginning net position of the gas fund was restated by about $61,000 due to just a duplicated payment accrued in fiscal year 24. So and that duplicate payment was like voided, and this also increased net position. Moving on, an inventory adjustment. So Shifra and management determined that there was inventory on hand in the water and sewer department that was not being tracked and recorded. So her and her team posted a restatement back to 24 of $170,000 to get the city's inventory balance correct. And then last, so we noted the city has not been historically recording unbilled receivables. So for instance, if a meter was read on July 15th and had read dates of June 25th through July 25th, those last 5 days of June have not been accrued for. So the beginning net position was restated by about $240,000 in the business type funds. Again, just like those grant revenues, this is just a timing reclassification where the revenue and activity were recorded. We're just reclassing it to another period. Essentially, the revenue should be recognized when it's measurable and available. So sometimes the argument here is, well, there's 12 months of billing in the revenue, so why does it matter? Well, if the volume of services in the last 15 days of the current year is higher than the last 15 days of the prior year, then revenue could be under or overstated, whichever way it goes. But again, just kind of a timing reclassification there. So now that I went over all the adjustments, I just want to say this finding is not a reflection of the finance team's ability or work ethic. Her team was very transparent and helpful, which made it possible for us to identify these adjustments. And a majority of these adjustments stem from just historical ways of doing things and kind of just a cleanup of accounting treatment. So, and we'll work with Shifra and her team this year and going forward to ensure that these adjustments and accounting treatment are corrected. And I've also mentioned to Shifra, we're a resource all year round. So whenever she has a question or unusual transaction comes up, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're here. Let's see here. So I've already mentioned like the advisory work that we do, and then also the IT work that we do. The next two slides on, I think, 16 and 17, just touch on some upcoming government accounting standards. So, and we'll touch base with SHPRA as these become effective to ensure the city is considering and implementing any that if we do offer quarterly continuing education to all our government clients. If anyone's ever interested, please let us know. And well, that concludes the presentation. Open for any questions, concerns?
Right, any questions from the commission?
So the timing issues that you're talking about, are those a preferential thing that like you as an your team as an auditor might have that wouldn't necessarily be law? It's just what you like to see versus what SHPRA's team has done?
There's standards and rules that do back what we're adjusting for.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not really opinions.
I mean, I'm just I'm trying to figure, because we haven't had that before in other audits, so I'm just wondering like what makes this one different.
Yeah, I can't say what happened in the past or anything, but yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah, I was gonna answer.
Why was it called that? Yeah, it's a great question, and I can't answer that, but yes, we do have standards and research and stuff that kind of back our transactions and our thoughts, and I think SHPRA's agreed with everything.
And if y'all have any questions for me, open to questions. If y'all want to sit down and go over every item, we can do that.
I'll call you.
Well, you'll have to come to my office for this.
Well, I have to get an appointment.
You have to get an appointment.
I have to call you to get an appointment, so I'll call you.
I'm here.
Miss Laura, you got anything? Got any questions?
No, I understand what she's saying about just moving some things around. So
Yeah.
I think the audit is still good because
No money missing. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a nice thing.
exactly.
We've got an increase in our fund balance, which is good to see.
Mhm.
And we hadn't had to raise taxes, water rates, sewer rates. We've done all that with what balancing it out.
Two or
And,
three.
and the one thing I want to touch on was this 170 related to properly stating the inventory assets of the city. We recognize that on our own.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it was all at Public Works. And Victoria and her group, and as I explained to them on a phone call I had with them, trying to get the employees of Public Works, Dale,
Yes, sir.
it's no dig, and that's what I said during the call. It's no dig at those guys. That's not what they do is count inventory. They use it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we recognized that we probably had this, and that couldn't be done overnight. Because you guys are doing what we want you to do, repairing leaks and doing what we need.
Right.
So,
And a couple of these adjustments actually end up, like Allison had said, they do end up helping us because two of them reduce our liabilities down. They
Yeah.
actually help
That's right.
us
Yes.
increase our total net position up. So
We definitely have
So
no
I get-
concerns with management, and everything was
So
good.
help you out more going forward.
the financials that they put together when they do these adjustments, it actually increases the bottom line for
Right.
water and sewer and the funds. Because a couple of them were liabilities coming off of our books that we made. Some of them we've carried for a long time.
No.
And that's another reason why they've just been sitting there. So there's at least 2 or 3 items that are reducing liabilities, which
They
is
help us.
liability is something you owe. So
Yep.
Yeah.
we're removing them off of our books. We don't owe them. We've already used them. They just account for them. So, but again, any questions y'all have, I'm more than happy to go over all this with y'all too.
just say good job.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Skipper.
thank y'all. Like
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you all.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Chastity, thank you.
Thank you, Chastity.
Toya.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
thank y'all. Thank y'all.
And
I know some of the
I
other
mean,
ones
that-
are watching online.
let's just go down that hall, okay?
Yes, thank you all.
All right. No other questions. I'll entertain a motion that we accept the audit of 24-25.
I make a motion that we accept the audit from 2024 to 2025.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Resolution 2026-11, a resolution approving change order number 6 to the construction contract with BH Craig for the 2021 wastewater treatment plant improvement project.
So the purpose of this resolution is to approve the final change order for the 2021 wastewater treatment improvement project. This change order balances the cash allowances on the project, provides a credit to the city for mutually agreed upon scope modifications, provides a credit to the contractor for a delay outside of their control, increases the contract time due to adverse weather days, and assesses the liquidated damages to the benefit of the city. This actually, all those things together, decreases the contract price by around $231,000. It adds 37 days to the contract for weather days, but the final completion date was still last year. The change order was in your packet and is online and is attached to the resolution as an exhibit. A cost breakdown and a summary from Barge on the total cost of the project is also included in your packet.
Any questions? Just for everybody's information, just so you get the true numbers, the total project price with the recommended incorporating the change is $13,000,001. And we don't have to talk about this a whole lot anymore, thankfully. So, any other questions from the commission? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we approve resolution 2026-11, the final changeover.
Thank you. Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
I've got a bunch of seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Woo! That's been going on for 2 decades. Resolution 2026-12, a resolution approving change order number 7 to the agreement between the owner and the engineer professional services dated December the 5th of 2018.
So just for clarification, that number 6 was to the contractor contract. This number 7 is to Barge's contract.
Right.
We probably have.
So this is the last.
This is the last.
This is, that's right.
That
This
was the
would be the
last one
last.
for work to be done. But anyway, so the purpose of this resolution is to amend the engineering contract for the wastewater treatment project with Barge. It adds engineering services time and payment that are associated with the increased construction time for the project that we just talked about in 2026-11. The amount of the engineering change order is $28,500. This covers the 5 months of extra engineering that was needed for the additional construction time on this project.
Now I can say it is the final.
I make a motion, we approve.
No, final.
I'm getting there. I make a motion, we approve resolution 2026-12 as the final resolution.
I said,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. General comments from citizens. No one signed up. So, thanks to everybody for being here. And then I'm going to let us go down to, but a reminder about the public hearing, is, I'll call it somewhat of a study session. Again, Thursday, starting at 5:30. And, we'll be discussing what we discussed at length for those of you that were here for the, strategic plan, again, for the, stormwater and for, just so you can hear the new plans that we have. And there's not a lot of changes to the zoning and planning piece. So, Ms. Lori?
I don't have much to say. Again, thank you so much for the audit. Doing a great job still. Again, thank you to first responders, police, utility workers for everything that was done during the storm. You all did an amazing job. We could have been without, but we weren't. So I thank God for every one of them and just being in such a good group.
So, Ms. Willie?
I would just like to piggyback off what Lori said. I appreciate all of you, and I just like how Al spoke the other night about how the city and the power company work partnership, how they work so good together. I just appreciate all of you guys, and I just pray that our partnership continues and to keep working great together. And if I can help in any way, please reach out.
Ms. Pam?
Well, I'll piggyback on both of them, and then Saturday, it was nice out, and I actually got to go for a good long walk, but I went and every business up and down Main Street, and the excitement, just the positivity from everybody that you talk to of the city and what's going on now is just really cool. Even my tax guy, Mr. Kraus, was like, things seem to be popping, you know, these businesses look like they're here to stay. And so I'm really grateful and excited about Mount Pleasant and just our staff. Couldn't ask for better staff. Thank you for your time with the audit and being thorough. Yeah. Good.
All right. Yes, Laura.
My church was so appreciative to all of you, the police, fire department that came down to our Super Bowl Saturday.
Oh.
It was a great success. They were so excited that the firemen showed up and policemen showed up. So
Police didn't show up?
yeah, they came. Some of them. A couple of them. You know, them firemen, they be hungry. Big Daddy didn't go, no.
Big Daddy didn't go.
Big Daddy didn't go.
Oh,
Make a
man.
motion. No, you gotta say something.
Yeah.
No, I'm done. I've said mine, and again, I think everything's gone well tonight. Thank y'all for that, and appreciate everybody that's in attendance. And I'll entertain a motion. We adjourn.
I second it.
No,
Entertain the
I
motion.
move that we adjourn.
Thank you. We got a second.
I second
All those
that.
in favor? Aye. Everybody have a safe evening.